Yo, so it's your girl Coconut Oil Tati, and we're here with Meeks, and he's part of the creative class. And so we got your story, we got your submission, and so can you just explain your artist name?
Like the meaning behind it, it's just my last name.
Okay.
Not to get too deep in it, but it's my father's last name. I don't really know my father, so I mean, obviously, I plan on making a career out of this shit, so it's kind of like if I do make it, when I do make it, it's gonna kind of be like a slap in the face to him for not being around and shit.
I dig it. I dig it. And so how did you get to this moment, like in life with your career and everything?
Really loving music, wanting to learn more about it, and just immersing myself in it every day. To say the least.
To say the least. And style. Like I know you on Instagram, you thrift a lot. Would you say style is important to your career?
Yeah, because it's a reflection of who you are, long term and that day in particular. You know what I'm saying? So definitely.
And how would you define your style?
Really wouldn't. Like I said, it just depends on how I'm feeling.
I mean, but like with music as well, like does fashion influence like your style of music? Do you think that like they're one and the same?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like I said, it depends on how you're feeling that day. You could make a sad song when you're happy one day. You know what I'm saying? You could wear jeans when you should probably be wearing shorts. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's all. Just depends. Depends on how you're feeling. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no.
I don't know. I'm high, so I'm just like rambling. I feel like. But.
That makes sense. That definitely makes sense. And so, what makes you? What keeps you going in all of this?
My love for the knowledge of music and just things around me. I feel like if I didn't have music, I'd probably be crazy, like on some crazy shit somewhere. So just knowing that keeps me sane, knowing that that's like part of my routine now is just expressing myself, whether it's writing or just listening to beats. That's what keeps me going, staying sane, progression.
That's lit. And what's your yearbook quote?
Drink a lot of water and talk to God. But, is that it?
That's it.
For sure.
Just tell us your name and like what it is that you do, and then I'll take it from there.
So my real name?
Your stage name.
Oh, Coast Wild, like with an E. And I make music and I'm a model.
You make music and you're a model. All right. And so yeah, like you sent us your story. It was really dope to read and to get like more insight on like how you do exactly what you do. And so tell us how did you get to this moment exactly?
How? I guess like what? Maybe a year and some change ago, I like was transitioning from dropping out of college. Not voluntarily. I just didn't have the money to go no more. There was a lot of complicated shit going on. I got a really bad relationship. I moved in with some homies who like they cool, but they wasn't the type of people to like encourage you to do like better with yourself off the strength. So I was just in a lot of fuck ass shit, and I ended up like cutting my face open. I cut the whole side of my face from my eye to my ear, and after that happened, I just like I woke up the next day and I was like, all right, I'm not gonna drink for like a year. I need to get my life together. I need to change shit. Cause I didn't have any direction. Like after college, I didn't know what to do with myself. But I was already making music, but I didn't know how to be serious about making music. But doing music eventually started to pick up because we had the time to put into it. And I started fucking with it through music. I got a manager. My manager wanted to work on my branding. So he started like encouraging me to do photo shoots and shit, which I had no idea how to do beforehand, but as fate would have it, the scar on my face from cutting my face open at the time made a lot of people who like took photography pictures and things that were like interested in me like for a look. And I've never seen somebody with that. So that eventually started leading into me like actually modeling. Like I think the first thing I really did was for Macy's with Mike and Kelly. All that shit spiraled into what it is now. I mean, like a music group later, an art collective later, a fucking crazy ass year later, an album drop. I got published twice this year. I mean, it's just like life happened, and I just went down the hole that it gave me.
Right.
Like after all the other paths were closed off.
Right. And so, with music and fashion, you kind of have to like find your own lane and like make your own your own way and all of this in order to like really like have something that's sustainable. And so like how would you define your style in both?
I mean, I'm just like alternative. I feel like I still have like the core things that like are general. Like I guess people would say I'm punk as far as how I dress and shit. But also I feel like I'm more black stage kid punk than anything. Like I don't know. I don't consider myself a super punk individual. But as far as fashion and shit goes, I like how niggas in manga dress. I like how niggas in anime dress. Like that shit be tight. So I take what I think works for me, and I just bring it to the world. Like it's same with music. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing originally, but I just kept doing it until I started finding like I don't know. I started doing what I felt like I wasn't seeing and what I wanted to see. Like I just started making the shit that I felt like I wanted more of. So that's kind of what steers me in those directions.
That's super lit. And how do you protect yourself as a creative?
As a creative? Man, that's like, you can't do shit that you don't agree with. Like, you can't take your integrity and get rid of it for money, but you also can't be obsessed with making money. You gotta find like the balance. You gotta find how much it means to you and then find out how you can turn that into like sustainable living. Like for me, I'll model a lot of clothes that if I like them, I'll do lots of shit for free because I know because of what I'm going to do with it is going to be good, they'll want to pay me later when it really counts. But don't compromise. Don't let other people tell you how you're supposed to be and how it's supposed to work. Like all this shit is up to you. It's going to be what you make it. So I feel like that's how you protect yourself as a creative. You like keep your integrity, you set some morals, and you go do that shit.
That's lit. And what keeps you going?
Man, I don't know. It might be kind of selfish, but I honestly just want to like validate the shit to myself. Like I lived through so much shit to just even be alive right now. I would be so mad to think that when I died, like I didn't go after the shit I wanted to do or like ever become the type of person I wanted to be in any sense. Like I've seen too many people pass away without the opportunity, and I mean it's just you go through so much shit, man. You like I gotta do something. Like it's no way I went through all of this for it to never transpire and turn into something bigger than what it was, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely it.
That's really inspiring.
Thanks, yo.
And what would be your yearbook quote?
My yearbook quote? Oh, man. Be as weird as you fucking want to be. For sure. Let's do that shit. It's okay. world not gonna stop just because people don't think you're normal or you don't fit in. Like you gotta be you and use that shit to the best.
That's real.
You know, I try to.
My name is Culture, and I am a pop, rap, hip hop artist. I feel like I wear like my style is different. I feel like I kind of create my music to my style. That's what kind of makes me.
So what would you say your style is? Because like that was like question number 2, but since we're here, we're here. What is it?
My style is more like a rock star style. It's more different. Like I like to roll my pants up and show my socks. I like to wear like different color socks and stuff like that. And I watch a lot of For Real and A$AP Rocky, so I kind of get my style kind of from them. And I kind of like, go off of stuff that fits me instead of going off of stuff that people think is sweet. And I just kind of do it like that.
Right. And so like when you say rock star, those like that's a like besides just like fashion, that's a whole lifestyle. So do you think that like you embody that whole lifestyle?
Yeah.
You do.
I think I do in a little bit of a way. When it comes to the music and stuff and kind of combining it together, yeah. But if I was to like try to take it on full force, probably not.
No.
Cause I ain't that sweet. But I do kind of alright, Alright.
And so like we got your story and everything. It was really inspiring, and like we just want to know like how did you get to where you're at this moment in your career? Like,
I honestly got to where I am by going through a lot of stuff. Like my brother died in February 2015. So the anger that I grabbed from that kind of pushed me in a way to get to where I am right now. Like people done stole from me. I done tried to get managers and managers wasn't working. I done got booed off stage before. I done got called lame. People done talked about my style a lot. I done performed in places people wouldn't think I performed. It took a toll, to get to where I am. I know, some people be like, I came in second place, but I was the person who always came in last place. So now that I'm starting to, people starting to know, like, oh, Culture really sweet. I used to know about him, whatever, woo, woo, woo. It's pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? They always say good guys, finish first. So it's pretty cool.
That's good.
Yeah.
And how do you protect yourself as a creative? You know what I mean? As far as like making your style like unique and keeping it authentic and like to like people not stealing your lyrics and shit, like leaking songs and all that. How do you?
Well, first of all, everybody don't know, but I write all my songs. Everything that you see about me is real. So if you steal it, I know you stole it. Like that's what make me me is because the things that's going on that's me. So if I write a song, I know it's mine and I wrote this song. Like can't nobody steal this song because I wrote it. Anytime I get on a song with anybody, because nobody really features me, I feature them. Which is why I don't have a lot of features. I feature myself in my own songs. So I write my own songs. And when it comes to my style, it's not hard for me to tell like, oh, you got that from me. Because it's so unique with it. Because it's like I'm the only person who really do this thing with the socks that I have seen. Not saying that I'm the only person in the world, but it's kind of like I'm the only person who does it. So it's kind of like if I know you did it, it's like, okay, I just saw you like last week. You got it from me. So yeah.
Right. That's cool. And like I mean like because we're all influenced by different shit and like like you might be influenced by somebody or you might be influenced by like somebody that like that's rapping on TV and shit like that. So it's like it's just important like definitely in rap culture to like kind of like stand out because everybody does look the same.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
What keeps you going?
What keeps me going in music is that I'm good at it. Like it's something that I like doing, and I'm not doing it to impress nobody. I'm doing it because I actually like doing it. I like being creative. I like making music. I like making people feel good. I like people catching vibes. I like when people look at me and say, oh, I can be different too. Like I feel like that's pretty lit, especially in Detroit, because Detroit got their own kind of culture and style. So it's like when people look at me and they be like, oh, he weird, but he still make this type of music. I want to do that. Like I feel like that's what keeps me going. And like I said, my brother being gone keeps me going. The anger keeps me going.
Right, channeling into something.
Yeah. Because I got to take care of people. And it's like, I feel like I got something. And I can take care of them if I can keep it going. So it's like, why not do something that I love and, take it to the top? Like, why not?
Right.
So that's what I kind of do. Yeah.
That's lit.
Thanks.
And so, what's your yearbook quote?
My yearbook quote is, if you can't imagine it and you can't see the vision, don't do it. That's all I got to say.
That's real.
Elixir hipster. Damn, what do I do? I'm a model, a poet, a host, creative consultant, stylist, photographer when I need to be, iPhone photographer, rapper, DJ, car DJ,
Queen of the aux cord.
queen of the aux cord.
Okay. And so, how did you? You sent us your story, and like it was definitely inspiring. How did you get to this moment?
Like, how did I start?
Well, I mean, like just like how did you start? How did you keep going? Like the Spark Notes version of like how you got to this moment.
So I started off as a singer, and I didn't like singing, so I just started doing different stuff. Like I was blogging for Sheepy. I started hosting shows. I started throwing shows for like my friends and stuff that rapped and produced and all that other stuff. I just started doing anything that was creative and that I felt like I was good at. And then once I realized it wasn't that passionate to me, I just moved on to whatever else was fun, I guess. So, I don't know. I don't really categorize myself as one thing because I do so much and I can do so much. So, I don't know. I just be doing shit.
And then people were people receptive at first? Like, did you have to like make people see the vision, or did they already do it?
I feel like low key everybody fuck with me. It's just because the fact that I'm a woman and I'm small and I come with myself. Men, and it's such a male dominated field. It's just like, oh no, who is she? What's she doing? Let me see what the fuck she like. Man, I can hold my own.
Right.
This ain't that.
Right. This is not. This is that. And so style, whether it's like, fashion, music, all of that, I feel like you definitely establish your style and aesthetic. So like, how important is that to like what you do?
Well, I'll tell a lot of people, I tell my friends specifically, like, you always got to mirror yourself as a walking business. So if you don't look the part, nobody gonna take you serious. But if you look like something, people gonna be like, oh, okay, what she do? Or he look like a rapper, or he look like he do something. So you always gotta look like whatever you feel like you do. I guess if you like a photographer, wear a fucking camera on your shirt. You sell bananas, wear a banana shirt.
And how do you protect yourself as a creative, especially in like a male down?
You gotta cuss niggas out
Right.
at all times. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. You gotta walk in a room and command that energy off top, because people will really try to little dog you or try to discredit you for who the fuck you are. And it's just like, no, bro.
That's real.
No. Look at me. I'm here. Y'all turn.
It's me.
It's me.
And what keeps you going?
As far as like being a creative, what keeps me going is the fact that I know I always got something to do, and I know if I don't get it done, can't nobody outdo me or do me better than I can. So it's like, if I'm not gonna do it, you're not about to do it. Let me just get it done, or just go crazy like I'm supposed to.
Right.
It's not really just one thing that keep me going. Like, oh, my mama got a cold or some shit. Like, I'm from the hood. There's so many other things that can keep me going, but I'm not about to just base my whole life around this one thing. I'm gonna just do it because nobody can do me better than me.
That's real. That's real.
That was a quote. Save that.
You wanna make that your
That
yearbook
was-
quote? Because that's the next
No.
question.
I might can come up with something else.
Right. So the next step is to tell us your yearbook quote.
Damn, that was the last thing. Damn. What's the yearbook quote?
It can be anything. Anything. You know, like you close in 2018. You feel me? Everything that you've been through this year, like parting words with this year.
Parting words. Can't nobody do me better than me.
That's
Well,
real.
Oh, okay. Hey y'all, I'm Milfy. I'm a rapper, personality, or whatever.
Or whatever.
Or whatever.
And so, like, obviously you have children
Yes,
too, and
two
like,
boys.
congratulations on the newborn, by the way. But so you started rapping like after you had your first child, and like.
Yeah, I had him in 2011. I didn't start rapping until 2016.
Okay. Okay. So you were like a mom, like.
Oh yeah, I was already Milfy all the way. Like
Right.
I was Milfy like 3 years before I started rapping.
Right. You've been a milfy. You've been a milfy. And like, did you give yourself that name?
Actually, when I found out I was pregnant with my son Connor, he's 7 now. We were in a parking lot at Planet Fitness. I remember this, and I told my friends Ray and Ayana, I'm like, bitch, I'm pregnant, and Ayana was like, oh, I'm Milfy, and that's been my name since then.
That's perfect.
I was like, I like that. I'm gonna keep that. That's my new Twitter name.
That's perfect. That's really cute. And so like we got your story, really inspiring, by the way. It was just really dope to like kind of like see you like maneuver this summer, like, you know, still performing and shit.
Ooh,
Like,
it was hot.
was it?
It was a hot summer.
You were on your Cardi
Definitely.
B shit though, like for real. And that was
I'm sorry. I performed pregnant before Cardi B.
right. Let's just
Because every time people like, oh, you on your Cardi B shit. I did it.
Cardi B on her milky shit.
Cardi B on her milky shit. Period.
Period. And that's cool. That's cool. Whatever, you know, you can inspire people. You feel me? But how did you get to this moment, like with like your career and everything, like?
So I've still never had a manager. I want a manager so bad because I'm not lazy, but it's like, oh, I gotta do everything. I gotta do everything. Like, oh, you gotta book yourself. You gotta promote yourself. You gotta practice so you can perform and be cute.
A lot of people do not practice. Let's just talk about it.
A lot of people don't read first.
I know. They don't know their own words.
How don't you know? That is a thing that irritates me so bad. You don't know the words
Did you write this shit?
to your song. It's your song. They don't know the words to their song.
No.
That's not my business. I know the words to my song because I wrote it and I performed it and I rehearsed it before I performed it. So I'm an artist. People be killing me in real life, and I'm not gonna go left with this, but just know it is a thing that bothers me. You don't fuck rehearsing. You don't listen to your own song.
You feel me? Cause like, I'm bumping my own shit.
I listen to my shit all the time. Like, we was in the car last night. My best friend was like, you shouldn't listen to nobody's stuff, period. I'm like, but I still want to hear other people's stuff. She like, no, you need to listen to your stuff. You right.
Right, low key. I mean, if nothing else but to know the words.
If you want to know the words, at least. The least you could do is listen to your own song.
Right.
Anyway,
Right, back to
I got
it.
here by being my own manager and being my own creative director. It's so hard. I can't wait until I get help. But it's just work. All you gotta do is work.
Work.
Dash
And-
Rihanna. She said that.
And so like, with your style, like, how did you define your style, like, as far as like music and the type of music that you make and like how you like portray yourself and everything?
I feel like like some people be like, oh, you gotta separate the artist from the art. No, mine is all one thing. Like, the way I am in my music is how I am in real life.
Right.
Like, it's how I talk. It's inspired by how I grew up, the people I'm around. I grew up in Puritan, Wyoming. Like,
Okay.
I be with niggas. Like, it's just some nigga shit, but it's some bitch shit. But it's like, nigga and bitch is real. You can use it for both. It's the same thing to me. So, Yeah, basically, like, I get my style from my everyday. Like, the shit I grew up around. My mama.
I get it from my
Basically.
mama. And how do you because like this is definitely still a male dominant industry. How do you protect yourself as like a woman creative?
You just gotta treat these niggas like niggas. Basically. Like, that's the only way. Because if you are a female in this industry, it's very easy to get ran over by the niggas, and it's easy for these niggas to let you feel like you're less of what you actually are, because maybe people love having niggas at shows. So it's like a lot of niggas get booked for shows. A lot of females, it's hard to get booked for shows. Not hard, but it's still like, even if you are booked, it's still gonna be 8 other niggas on the show. So you just have to be confident in yourself and be like, no, I'm here. This is what I'm doing. Y'all gonna look at me. Y'all gonna respect me, and y'all gonna understand it.
Right.
So
That's real.
yeah.
That's real. And when did you do you charge for features?
Yes, I do.
When did you start charging for features?
I started charging. I mean, honestly, because the first song I ever wrote, it was a shit called Mother, and I wrote that in, I want to say, December of 2016. It might have been it was December of 2015. So I went into 2016 like, okay, I'm really about to do this rap shit.
Right.
So, I mean, after that, I was like, oh, I'm good. I'm really good at this. Okay. Because I've been a waitress forever. Like, that's the only job I have, because I like being a waitress. So it's like, I don't want to get a real job. I want to be a rapper. But until I can make all of my money off rapping, I'm going to be a waitress. So, I mean, as soon as I started rapping, and niggas is like, oh, I want you on a song. Oh, bet. Here's my email. Here's my booking info.
Right, because you're your own manager.
Because I'm my own manager. Like, I'm like, oh, no, we got to get bread off the jump, because, bitch, you know what you're doing.
Right.
So,
That's real.
yeah,
That's
automatically.
It's really dope to like see you like handling your shit, and it's like how like your artistry has progressed. I feel like it might seem that you got a manager, but like it's just you. That's lit. That's real lit.
It's so crazy. Yeah, sometimes I, like, when people email me, I email back like, yeah, Milfy would love, because this is Jasmine you talking to. You can separate the art from the artist, but not really. You can separate the artist from the manager.
Right.
And Jasmine is the manager. And Milfy is the artist.
Right, Jasmine is the bread though. Yeah.
So, yeah. We're
All right.
managers out here.
That's lit though. That's really lit. And just we can close out by giving us your yearbook quote.
Oh my God. I mean, I'm a bad bitch, okay? Like, that's really my quote, because it's like, being a bad bitch entails so many different things. And it's like, all around. I'm a bad bitch at home. I'm a bad bitch when I rap on stage. After I leave here, I'm going to the grocery store. I'm going to be a bad bitch in a grocery store. So, you just got to be a bad bitch. Period.
That's real.
That's my quote.
My name is Derek Shorter. I am a rapper and a producer.
And how did you get here? At this point in your career.
Well, I started rapping when I was 12 years old, and when I was 16, I went out and got a drum pad, some software, because I was tired of buying beats off of YouTube and all that. So once I started doing that, I started getting good at it, and people was like, yo, you should start selling your beats and all that, and I was like, might as well, why not? So after I started selling a couple, I was like, I can actually do this as a career. So once I started doing that, people started giving me like props and stuff like that a lot more, and so that's where I'm at now.
And did you always see yourself, doing music, like rapping, producing?
Yeah, when I was younger, I had this idea in my head. I was like, I can't see myself doing nothing else, because when I was in high school, I tried to play basketball, but I got cut from the team because coach. He was trying to play me. But and then I started I started really getting good at making beats, and I was like, I can't see myself doing nothing else. I can't work no 9-to-5 job. I can't, be in no corporate office all the time. I gotta be my own boss. I want to just make beats and rap, drop projects as much as I can. So, yeah.
And with your style, as far as like the type of music and beats that you make, how how did that come about? How did you develop your own style?
When I was younger, I started watching videos on producers and how, like, famous producers like Kanye, Pharrell, Timbaland, Pete Rock, all those dudes. I was watching them, how they make their beats and stuff like that, and that's how I kind of developed the style I have now, which is kind of something like the soulful sound because, you know, I'm a big Kanye fan, so I started sampling and speeding up the samples and all that, and then I just kind of added my own little twist, so I started adding like little trap drums on top of it,
Right.
and then just mix the trap with the soul, and then try to blend it together
Okay.
to create my sound.
Mhm.
So it was just really just YouTube videos and just trying out different stuff as much as I could.
Right. And so, like, do you also study Dilla? Because, like, that's who kind of, like, you know, brought, that's where Kanye got his inspiration from. So it's like, is Dilla, like, in that?
Yeah, of course. You know, it's producing without Dilla. I think Dilla's like arguably the best producer of all time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, staying away from my bias of Kanye, but
Right.
yeah, cause Dilla's the reason why I got an MPC and started making beats like analog. So
Okay.
Yeah, for sure, Dilla.
Definitely.
I'm from Grand Rapids, so you know, I'm not from Detroit, like I said. So and it's like it's a lot of people out there that, you know, try to get over on you. So once I started making connections with people, so people really wouldn't like mess with me and stuff like that. And once I did that, yeah, I just really just be an asshole to people. It's like,
Asshole.
look, no, like y'all not gonna try to get over on me and my stuff. That's
Right.
not.
Gotta hold it down. Gotta.
Yeah, and plus my family's from Chicago, so it's like I ain't gonna let nobody try to, you know, walk over on me like that. So
Right.
yeah.
That's real. What makes you keep going?
Just the drive, just the thought in my head is like, every day I wake up, I'll be like, bro, I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to wake up and just, you know, go to class all the time, you know, work a regular job. I just want to be able to eat off my craft. So it's always that. I always had that mentality. It's like, once I get up, I'm gonna go out and get it. So I don't have to keep, you know, doing the same routine all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's real. And you could just tell us your yearbook quote.
All right. Yearbook quick quote. You know, I'm still some KD. You know, he a little snake out there, but you know, I forgot what I said. I'm sorry.
So you're just talking shit about KD.
But nah, my quote is just, you know, don't let nobody stop you from doing what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck everybody, just do you. So, yeah.
Start your introduction.
I'm nervous, and I do a podcast every week. Okay.
Different.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Auntie Neek. Everybody knows me as Auntie Neek. I'm one half of the podcast #Eastside. I manage a rap artist by the name of E Will, and I am the creative director for women's brand Off the Muscle Apparel.
I'm Mel. Jamel. #Eastside Mel, whatever you want to call me on that day. Yeah, I'm the other half of the #Eastside podcast. I also manage Field Swish. We both curate events.
Oh, we created the vibe, sorry.
Yeah, when we curate events.
Yeah.
That's it. It don't end there. Yeah.
Yeah. So we definitely read your story. But like it was a little brief. So could you tell us, like, give us a Spark Notes version of like how you guys linked up, how like the podcast came to be, and like how you got here?
Okay. Well, the podcast started. It actually started with me and another guy, and we was like, yeah, we're gonna find a girl. So, and Neek was like, you know what, I want to do it. So we pulled Neek in.
They really ain't had nobody else to do it.
No, we had other options, but you.
Nobody was going to be better than me. So that's
I
really
said that. I said you was the best option. But so
You guys both said that.
actually, a year before we started this podcast, we had plans to start a podcast aside from this one. It kind of fell through because niggas on bullshit. I don't know if I can cut.
I hope
Go
our
ahead.
friends see this.
Okay,
Because
yeah.
y'all was the ones on bullshit.
Yeah, big bullshit. But look at us now, nigga.
We love
You
y'all
know
though.
what
We
I'm
still
saying?
friends.
I bet you went no bullshit now, nigga. Niggas in the yearbook.
We got notebooks and shit.
Niggas in we got cards, bitch. You got cars on your bitch ass. But look, yeah, so we just been podcasting, you know, trying to put people in the spotlight, you know, creatives and whatnot, entrepreneurs, trying to put people on.
Basically doing what you're doing with this yearbook.
Basically,
See?
in a podcast version. You know what I'm saying?
We here.
Yeah, talking shit.
Talk that shit.
Drinking wine. Yeah.
And what station is your podcast
We're
on?
on Audio Wave Network.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can catch us on Google Play, SoundCloud,
Every Wednesday at noon, or you can go back
Apple
track
Podcast
stuff like
app.
that.
Yep.
It's fine.
Every Wednesday at noon, we dropping hot fire. Dropping fire on niggas.
Oh, niggas
I don't know
sounds-
why I thought you was about to say die line.
Die. Hot fire. Bonfire.
Did you want us to talk about what else
Black.
you do? Or just the podcast
oh no, yeah,
right now?
we're just gonna talk about the podcast.
Okay.
And how did you develop your style with the podcast? Cause like y'all are funny, but like as far as like the topics and like the music, like everything, like how did that come together? Did y'all agree? Was it hard to like figure out the platform?
It took a lot of meetings. Like, niggas was meeting at my house all the time. I was getting tired of niggas meeting at my house. You know, because I got a cat and niggas wanted to
You got a
play
cat?
with my
That's surprising.
Yeah, I'm like a self-proclaimed zoologist. I really like animals.
It's very
and shit,
interesting for
you know
niggas
what
to
I'm
have
saying?
cats.
Low key though.
Like,
It ain't my first cat either, you know.
Like he's had multiple cats over his lifespan, so
I
like
ain't new to this. I'm true to this.
it's really interesting for a nigga to have a cat.
You know what I'm
So
saying? I like to label something soft. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Something soft.
you like laying with pussy.
Playing with pussy. You know what I'm saying? You play with it right to get the purring on a nigga. You know what I'm saying? Make that purr. Yeah.
Other than that, the topics are more so like the day of. I'd be like, Mel,
what we
what we
talking
gonna
about?
talk about?
And I'd be like,
You gotta scroll Twitter, Instagram, see what's going on. Sometimes it be stuff heavy on our heart that we can talk about.
Yeah.
Some topics are like, of course, the fab thing
Mm-hmm.
that sparked up a whole domestic violence, and
Right.
we talked about
Yeah.
a whole.
A lot of things, it'd be like something would happen, and we'd take something from that and make a bigger conversation from it.
Right.
You know, abstract thinking.
I like it. I like
You know
it.
what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So it's like, you know, when
That wordplay.
you know, that vocab is nice. I wish I had my bell. Ding ding.
Oh yeah, y'all should have brought the
I
bell.
should have bought the bell. But no, the bell is being used by other podcasts on the network right now. Sunday is a big recording day.
Okay.
So
Right, we got somebody coming in here at 8 low key.
straight up.
Oh,
Oh, we
okay.
about to get the fuck up out of here.
No, we good, we straight.
But yeah, so that's how we get it in, you know.
And how do you guys protect yourself as creatives, like, you know, maneuvering through the industry, you being a woman in the industry, like, you know, making sure like business is business and it gets handled, like, how do you go about that?
We don't even want to talk about that. We had a whole.
We had a skirmish. Yeah.
We won't talk about it, but somebody really bought the web domain for
Now you
hashtag
wanna talk-
Eastside.
now you
We'll be
talking
talking
about
about
it.
it. But
No.
yeah.
Oh, that's
But we ain't got-
petty.
Yeah, somebody
So we're
did
not gonna
that.
talk about that?
It's cool. No,
You can crop all this out there.
This is positivity. We
No,
ain't
yeah,
talking about that. But we ain't talking about that. But
Now we know to dot our I's, cross the
yeah,
T's.
paperwork.
You know,
It's all about
we
that.
basically got all the stuff. Hashtag Eastside Incorporated is a thing. Ting.
Yeah, we growing, you know,
And it's,
from podcast to event curating to artist management,
yeah, so it's gonna be a whole
to
entertainment company at this
merchandise.
point.
clothing line, all that. We trying to do all that shit. So it had to come eventually. That just made us hurry
Get on
up
your
and
shit,
do it.
right. Mhm.
Yeah.
Because as a podcast, you think like, ain't nobody trying to steal off a podcast or some
But
shit
that's
like that.
that's a really clever name, and I could definitely, you know what I'm saying, like hashtag Eastside, like that's nice.
I had nothing to do with this. I won't even lie
That was
act
me.
like I did.
You know what I'm saying?
I like it.
Brainchild. You know what I'm
I
saying?
take credit for everything else.
Everything else. Everything else is hers.
That was not me.
And
Except
so,
for the
I would
good
say the
times.
last question is, what keeps you guys going?
the support that we get.
Yeah.
And, you know, the dreams that we have, the things that we want to achieve. That's enough motivation in itself. I got so much shit I want to do, so many people I want to help.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
So
only
much shit you want to talk because you've been talking this whole interview.
it's
It's
an
on
interview.
me. It's
I'm
like, no,
supposed
just
to talk. This is what I'm supposed to do.
Make sure you keep that in
this
there.
is what you call. This is what we here for. This is the purpose. Okay.
Okay.
So
I
yeah.
really ain't had time to talk. This how he does. This not even how he does on the podcast. So this is very interesting because I do all the talking on the
he's switching
podcast.
up.
We got a different type of Colin
That's
Rossi in
really-
there today.
Okay.
Y'all like
That is
Moscato?
true.
Yeah.
Y'all like that
We
Moscato?
might should get this for the show.
Yeah, it's like truth serum.
That's
Yeah.
that chatty talk. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy because he usually like,
I ain't smoked in a
he
couple
kind of
hours.
laid back. I'll just ask a question every now and then to let y'all know I'm still here. But
See,
today, he
the only
just
thing
been
about
talking
that
to
is why she don't be talking that much because we be talking about shit she don't know about.
Ooh.
Like one of my guests they'll start talking about some
Sports?
comic book
Oh,
shit,
okay.
Yeah.
or some sports, that too, or some wrestling, and she just be sitting there like,
because who gives a fuck about that bunch of them?
people do, our guests do,
Sure.
our listeners do.
And
Just
that's
like
why you give them that.
when we took a picture,
I'm really
and I
boring
caught
actually,
somebody
but I can
comment-
have a good conversation. So that's
She
all
don't-
that matters.
she don't indulge in nothing.
I don't.
Fucking nothing.
I don't watch TV.
Fucking nothing.
None of that.
No
But this
interest.
has helped. Well, not helped. Me and Mel friendship hasn't really been like terrible, but it's grown for sure. Me and
Our
Mel
friendship
talk
always
every
been
day.
great.
That's why I said, but we talk every day now. Like we didn't talk every day. Like we talk every day now, and it's a little bit.
You might not need to talk every day.
We damn near need to see each other every day at this point. We only record one day out the week, so I don't understand why. But you know, and then Mel.
Chemistry and whatnot.
Yeah, and then Mel be upset when he goes out and people ask about me. Make sure you keep
need
this
to
in
be
there.
She's the popular one.
Yeah.
I think she's the favorite.
Yeah, because nobody ever asks about Mel
She
when
funny.
I go out.
She like bam funny like instantly like I'm like oh shit, I just thought about that.
You
That
have to
was
be
funny.
Mel is like Chris Rock. Like you have to be clever to get his jokes. Like I'm not into
That's the
Chris
type of
Rock.
sense of humor that I have. I appreciate it.
I get Mel. Like I get Mel. He's not like Chris Rock. He's like
A
a,
lot of shit
notch
be going over
under
her
Chris
head.
Oh,
Rock.
you're not quite.
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah, but he like right under Chris
I
Rock.
don't think no actually because I don't feel like Chris Rock is that funny. Like his last couple stand-ups wasn't that funny, so I feel like I'm catching up. Like
I'm not
you know,
watching
I
his
can, if I put a
stand-ups.
stand-up together, it'd be funnier than
You
his
should.
shit.
I would come.
You would?
Hell yeah.
Ooh, don't tell me that.
Please do not tell him
Don't
that.
tell me that. I'll be at Punchline practicing.
Hey,
Please do not tell me all
I
this.
know the owners. We can definitely set something
Please
up.
don't.
But
See, hey, she be hating on my dreams. So
You never had a dream of this. Like
we got multiple dreams that's been documented that she hated on, and then they came.
tell me you
and
had a
somebody
dream
else
about being
did
a
it.
comedian.
And somebody else did it, and she be like, Mel, you know what? I'm mad I hated on you on that, cause like everybody
At
got
least you
ramen
can
noodle
admit it.
companies. I said
Mel, tell
I'm
me
gonna
you
start
want to be
making
a
ramen
comedian.
noodles. Huh?
Tell me you want to be a comedian.
That ain't the point.
Tell me you want to be a comedian.
I'm telling you now.
He did want to make ramen noodles, and it's crazy because niggas is making ramen
Your
noodles.
boyfriend told me I should be a comedian because he said I'm the humor of the podcast.
well, your boyfriend said. All right, look.
You just made him a snake on.
We run out of time. What's y'all yearbook quote? Y'all funny.
It's the east side, ain't it?
Hey, stay blessed, stay black, and stay on track.
My name is Ashanti, better known as Ashanti Africana. I'm a graphic designer slash, I guess, all-around creative. Is it gonna be like sliced?
It can be.
Okay, we're gonna slice.
We're gonna slice and dice the thing. Yeah. So like, how did you get to this moment? Yeah. In artistry and life.
Damn. I mean, that's a lot of things.
Mhm.
Hold on, should I look at you or the camera?
A little bit of both.
Okay. A lot of things. I went to Eastern for art. I've done art since I was a wee little one. What really got me here, let me keep it short and sweet, is just passion, you know? I just did the shit. I got up, I created some shit, I kept putting that shit out there, and it turned into something. So if you're passionate about something, just do it. You never know what can come out of it.
True.
They're trying to ruin my interview though.
Right, are we good? Like this goes. Yeah, okay. We're definitely gonna slice this shit.
Okay, yeah.
So style, how did you already have like like your art style? Has it evolved from like when you first started?
Most definitely, but I feel like I've stuck to like the core things that mean a lot to me. Just going off of what people say, I would say like my color palette is still kind of like the same, and I've always used like the, I guess same type of style in like my videography. So I think people look at stuff and they can be like, oh, that's Africana.
I can definitely tell. It's
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
definitely. From like your digital art to like your murals and everything.
So it's evolved, but you can still tell. So
And do you have like a name for it?
Nah. I have to think about that. No, I don't. I guess no. Mm-mm.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely think that like it's impactful. Like I can like look at a piece and I can definitely tell that it like you've had something to do with it, and I can tell like the mood. I get the mood right away because like it's just really cool to be able to see like it's like I'm communicating. You know, like we haven't talked in a while, but like I still feel like I'm like through your art I'm able to keep up with your life, and that's really dope to me.
That's really dope to hear.
And so how do you protect yourself as a creative, as a woman creative in male dominant industries?
You have to put your foot down. I mean, I used to just be like, you know, it's whatever. Let me just, you know, figure it out as I go and try to remain professional. But sometimes in all settings you can't do that, especially as a woman, especially as a black woman creative. People really try to try you, and I do not have time for that. I had contracts. But main thing is to protect myself is just self-love. You know, I have to love myself before I can love anything else. So I really try to tone into myself, you know, and that just like, you know, travels through everything I do.
Right. I definitely respect that. When did you start, you know, like making money from art? Like,
Okay, I remember I sold my first painting. I think it was like 2014. It's hanging in a student advocacy center in Ipsy.
nice.
And I literally did a last minute painting the night before for a show at Riverside Art Center. And it didn't really mean much to me, but this lady came up to me and she was staring at it for a very like awkwardly long time. But I mean, it's not really awkward because she bought that shit, so thank you. But yeah, and it wasn't for sale because I was so nervous, but yeah, she bought that shit in like 2014, yep.
Nice.
And ever since then, it's been
Get the coin. Get the bag.
queen.
And what keeps you going through all of this?
The coin. I mean, to be for real, that and just doing what I'm passionate about. You know, it's the dopest thing to be able to do what everybody else said you couldn't do. And when I told people I was going to school for art and I was doing that type of stuff, they were like, girl, you crazy. What are you going to be an art teacher? They don't make that much, blah, blah, blah. And people see me now and they're like, wow, you actually did something with that shit, you know? And it's like, yeah, you know? So
Right,
even
you have
just,
more to do. Like.
yeah, and it's just even that, the satisfaction of knowing that I did this shit, you know, just based off of who I am. You know, no shade, but it's not like a nursing degree where you're going off a book or something like that. It's literally something that just came up in my head, and that's how I'm living, you know? And that's just the dopest thing ever, so.
Super inspiring. And that's all for me. So, like, if you could leave us with your yearbook quote.
I didn't think about that right now. I'm just going to say, because it pops in my head, if you knew better, you do better. Because I've been going through a lot of trials and tribulations when it comes to, like, knowing that something is bad for me or good for me, and I don't take that chance, or I do take that chance and it's not a good thing, and I know better. And that's been a constant reoccurrence in my life. So, if you knew better, you do better.
Drop mic.